post, filed written notice with the township clerk, posted written notice on the official bulletin board, and posted it on the district website.
Commissioner Saucier? Here. Commissioner Facier?
Here.
Commissioner Sands?
Here.
Commissioner Shepherd? Chairman Brown?
Stand for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Approval of minutes from April 2nd, 2024.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last month. Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Saucier?
Yes.
Commissioner Facier?
Yes.
Commissioner Sands?
Yes.
Approval of requisitions as reported by the treasurer.
Motion to approve. Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Saucier?
Yes.
Commissioner Facier?
Yes.
Commissioner Sands?
Yes.
Public comment. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the board's attention their concerns or comments. The board will respect the public's time by refraining from any comments until the speaker is finished. It should be further noted that public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member of the public has questions they seek answers to, an appointment can be made with the appropriate committee. We ask that the public state their full name and address for the record. First row.
Good evening, Luis Lopez, live 98 Levis Drive. I just have two curious questions. The helmet they use, it could be filtered out if you have to go past a no gas or like a toxic thing, or the helmets could filter that.
One more time.
I'm just
A
curious.
little louder.
Huh?
We can't hear you in the back. That's all I hear is mom.
Okay, my question is, the helmet that we have right here for the environment firemen, can it be filtered if they have to pass through a no gas or a toxic, like a mist? Could the helmet can withstand that?
Can what be filtered?
Like, no, you really say you have to go past the no gas and you have to put a helmet. Your helmet can filter that
I think he's requiring to the mask.
to the mask.
I mean, they're breathing in fresh air all with their own mask.
But if you have to pass a toxic gas and you have to put, you think we have?
I think the easiest way to answer this, Louis, because there's required training for hazmat stuff like that, where if it's a unknown gas or a toxic gas, that's a county hazmat team will come into play for that.
Oh, okay.
Where guys would just kind of stay out of the way and back up to hold the scene safe.
And thank you for appreciating me as a guest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Second row.
I got up here last month and stated how disrespectful each of you are acting towards the lifetime members by not giving them keys. However, I did not realize how disrespectful and low some of you would go. One of you took her official business key to this firehouse and brought her daughter and a couple of friends into the firehouse to take prom pictures with our historical steam pumper and in the history room. This was a blatant abuse of her position and so disrespectful. She should immediately have her key removed, or at the very least only be allowed in the firehouse for official business when other fire commissioners are here to babysit her. After all, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You have not given the lifetime members who have volunteered and served this fire department for over 50 years keys, and have stated they must have an active duty member present to babysit them or they have to leave. How disrespectful of you. Your reasoning, which you have not provided, is incomprehensible. Do you think they're going to take something? Believe me, nothing in this firehouse goes with my home decor. Who do you think has preserved that steam pumper so those girls who have absolutely nothing to do with this fire department could have frivolous prom pictures taken? The lifetime members you refuse to give keys. Who do you think has recorded, stored, and preserved all the historical artifacts that are going into the history room? Those lifetime members you refuse to give keys. Who do you think back in 2006 removed the brass pole from the Union Firehouse and stored it for almost 20 years so it could be installed in this very firehouse? Those same lifetime members you refuse to give keys. So you really think they're going to take anything? How silly and disrespectful of you. Is the reason ageism? In case any of you don't know the definition, it is defined as discrimination and stereotyping against older people. You are all discriminating and stereotyping the older members of this firehouse. The law forbids discrimination against people who are age 40 or older. Or, I have heard mumbling, you do not want the lifetime members getting a cup of coffee and standing or sitting around talking. Really? Do you know how much knowledge these lifetime members could share? These lifetime members were there when the Imperial Hotel and Bar burnt, when Mount Holly Chemical caught on fire, one of the most dangerous fires this town has ever attended, when Goldie's Pharmacy caught fire, when the Arrow Safety Factory caught fire, when Gazelle's Warehouse caught fire, when Agritway on Pine Street caught fire, when the brick row homes caught on fire on Rancocas Road. These lifetime members were there for the families. I have not even touched on the accidents and rescues they've attended. Their knowledge is not just fires. Back in 1979, when two boys went through the ice on the Rancocas Creek by the Washington Street Bridge, these same lifetime members you will not give keys to left their families to comb the creek night and day for 2 weeks, searching for those boys' bodies so their families could have closure. I would really appreciate it if you paid attention instead of writing while I'm speaking.
I'm writing notes.
This is my
Thank you.
time. The lifetime members' knowledge is invaluable, especially to the young active duty on the roster who have never attended fires of the magnitude these lifetime members work, nor have the active duty members had to smell or find the bodies of those lost. During the Carhart shooting in 1975, when 2 Mount Holly police officers were killed and 1 paralyzed for life, lifetime members were there to support and back up the police, but still no keys for the lifetime members. These lifetime members have left their families during the middle of the night, left work during the day to volunteer and serve the families and businesses of this town faithfully for more than 50 years, but you refuse to give them keys. When these lifetime members were on an active roster, there was never a fire, rescue, or emergency they did not show up for. Mount Holly always responded to the emergency. Other townships were only called in for backup or assistance, but your current active duty roster cannot say the same. And still you will not give the lifetime member keys. Could these lifetime members get on the active duty roster? Absolutely, but why should they have to in order to get keys? They have done their time and deserve the respect. It is now time for them to share their knowledge. My husband is a business owner, has volunteered and been a member since he was a teenager, 50 years. He is certified in closed confined spaces, cold water rescue. He's a certified scuba diver, certified rescue diver, and carries 85 pounds of shingles up and down ladders all day long, every day. He is probably more fit than a couple of your active duty members I could name. He has more integrity and respect for this apparently than does one of your own. But you show your disrespect by not giving him a key. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Only one of you has ever been a fireman or a woman, and you have no idea what it takes to be one. These lifetime members deserve keys now, not tomorrow, not next week, or even a month from now. They deserve them now. I plan on going to the town council meeting on May 13th. Oh, I know, they're not your governing body, but they do collect the taxes and distribute them. And more importantly, the taxpayers and voters attend and have a right to know how disgraceful you are all treating the lifetime members. My only hope is that families of those boys and families of the homes and businesses these lifetime members have helped and fought fires for are there. I hope families of current fires your active duty has not shown up for are there. The taxpayers and voters of Mount Holly deserve to know how their elected fire commissioners are treating these lifetime members. You may be keeping these firemen out of the firehouse, but you cannot remove the firemen from their soul nor their pride in this firehouse. Once a fireman, always a fireman. You are all shameful. Do what is right and give respect to those who have served. Give these lifetime members keys now.
Next row or next person? Anybody else? Ms. Ford?
Hello, happy Wednesday, everyone. It is Wednesday, right? Maureen Hillforth, 117 Grand Street. Just wanna verify, wanna follow up on a few things that I had mentioned the last time. When I'm asking questions here, or if people are asking questions and we don't get an answer right away, how am I following up? Am I emailing individual people within the board? Or how are my questions gonna be answered? If you don't have a answer presently, I think in February or March, I believe, I was asking about, how are we going to run the museum aspect of it? Is it gonna be every day? Is it gonna be run by paid personnel? Is it gonna be volunteer personnel? Since this building itself is not gonna be open for public usage, how are you going to, differentiate the usage for, if it's not open for public, but is it open for events that are only governed by the fire commission? When you guys hold events, you'll have stuff in here, and then how are you gonna run the museum aspect of it? Is it gonna be profit, is it gonna be non-profit? How is that gonna work? Are you incorporating anything with the township schools, specifically the high school? Are you bringing any high schoolers in, as far as helping them with fire education? I think I had asked that the last time, and I wasn't certain who to either email or how to follow up with those questions, because you didn't have answers before.
That would be our director, Mr. Eckert.
Mr. Eckert?
At the end of the meeting, I think you can see it.
All right, very well, thank you. What other thing? The other thing is, as a new member here, trying to understand what governs this, and I've been out of it for a while, coming back from Afghanistan. I've been out of it for about 10 years, and I'm trying to get back into my township full force. Can you just explain to me what the fire commission does? Because I'm not understanding exactly what your role here is. And I think I've got a couple of emails, or maybe I saw a couple of things that said, like updates. Oh, we had this going on in town. We maybe had responded to so many calls. We didn't have this amount of injuries, or we had this, how is that, for me as a civilian, in a civilian role that I am in now, how can I monitor that to see exactly what is going on with my town? Who is responding? I think I saw something that said you guys responded a couple of weeks ago, Vice West Hampton responding, and this is a massive building. And let's start with it, it's a massive building. It's not open to the public, it's a massive building, it's run by volunteers, right? So how can I keep up with all the things that this building is doing? It's a massive building. We have to show the need for it, because my personal opinion, I'm just from the outside looking in, I just see us like doing away with West Hampton at some particular point. We're not gonna need them anymore. We have this massive building here, so we need to put paid people in here, but then that's gonna contradict with us having the historical factor of being, the longest, I believe, volunteer fire department, correct? Something of that nature? That was just another question / statement that I was trying to understand.
So I'll answer part of it, and I'll defer the other part to Cole's job. But as far as the online posting, we are still in the process of trying to get the Facebook from the previous administrator, and there has been talks about creating a new one. So you would follow stuff online, you know, on the non-life fire district's Facebook page, Instagram page, I know we're gonna do that. And then, as far as museum goes, that's still a work in process. We are still trying to figure all that out.
Also a legal question.
Yeah, it's
Will they
also
have a
legal
distinct,
questions.
will they have like a newsletter or something that's specifically, because from my understanding, the fire commission is set aside from everything, correct?
Yeah,
So
we're
are you guys gonna
a
have like a
separate entity.
newsletter?
Yes.
Separate entity newsletter that tells the public and people exactly what's going on here in the firehouse, things of that nature, keeping us abreast?
So,
Yes, everyone doesn't have Facebook, the older residents that I speak to.
so I did talk to the township at one point. They were supposed to put out the township newspaper, and they wanted to do articles on that, and that was a year ago, and I've still not heard anything else back from them. I've still not seen the township newspaper come out either, so I could reach back out to the township on that as good, as far as that goes. As far as mail flyers and stuff like that, to give out new notifications of what's going on, we simply don't have the funds for that. I mean, it's,
I didn't hear you, Smith.
we simply don't have the funds to
Oh,
just
you don't
kind
have
of,
the funds, okay.
you know, a weekly or monthly newsletter of what's going on with the fire district. I do have some stuff going on, I'll put out later on today, it's our time to talk, it's gonna be happening this month, that we're gonna be doing. Maybe a whole list of things going on with the fire side we'll be doing. As far as going paid, we hope that doesn't come to any time in our near future. We've recruited about 800% in the last 5 years.
Oh, wonderful.
So we are very active on recruitment. And we are still making a push for recruitment.
Okay. Are you pushing for junior recruitment? I don't see anybody in that high school, and don't get me wrong, we're a military family. Okay, but all I see running through that high school is military folks, like myself and my husband. I don't see the police department, the fire department, I don't see the township in there. So how are you recruiting for the town if you're not in the high school trying to keep these kids here? And I'm not from Mount Holly, so what I hear is a lot of people, they graduate, they move away, and then in their latter life, they come back.
So with that, the lady's working on a junior program.
Okay.
About 8 years ago, I think it was, the state took away the junior program from the fire departments, they put it under Department of Labor. They since gave it back. So we're in the process of trying to write a new junior program to where it meets today's standards, not standards from the early 2000s.
Would it be an issue like I know Willenboro has one, if you guys had a shared service agreement with them just for like knowledge base, cause you said you had one 8 years ago. You know, is that possible? I mean,
Yeah, it's been at least 8 years since we brought it in. I think 2016 was the last year we brought it. As far as share, I mean, it's kind of rough to say because junior program started 16. So, once again, the laws have changed from the times that, you know, we had the programs to where what the juniors can and can't do, so we're still across trying to define that.
The biggest challenge with the junior program is a combination of regulatory restrictions that we have to clear with both like DCA and Department of Labor and stuff. And there's also insurance and liability issues. So we have to make sure that if we are gonna take people on, that we have the proper, you know, coverage so that if something does go wrong, or, you know, whatever, that we're covered and we're not gonna put people at risk. So I think those are the two things we need to balance. We definitely, it's something we wanna pursue, but we wanna do it the right way. And we don't wanna just rush into it and have something happen that would, you know, cause undue risk or injury to someone.
I can appreciate that, and so with you saying that, and I had walked in on this one young lady talking about, the older fire department, the personnel. When I first moved to Mount Holly, I used to see these old, mostly Caucasian men sitting here in the front of this, drinking coffee, and I was just blown away, like, what's going on there? But then after I realized the presence that they take, sitting there in that community, mostly for this particular area out here, right? But the presence, and then as the fire engines were eventually called out, they were there to secure the fire home, right? So, a little bit piggybacking on what she said, a little bit piggybacking on what you said in regard to the junior firefighters. So, with all the regulations, with all the insurance issues and things like that, maybe also you can implement within this junior policy that you're trying to come up with, you can reuse these elder firefighters in a teaching capacity. So now you're not really looking at regulatory, you're not looking at economics and things like that. I'm sure they'd be willing and wanting to give their knowledge away. And maybe we could do something curriculum-based or academia-based in that essence. And now you're bringing back the old, you're also bringing in the new, and you're securing the foundation of the town in general, because that's the goal. The goal is if this is gonna stay volunteer, whether you're recruiting at 80% now, what's gonna be the recruitment a year from now, 2 years from now? So we have to home grow it, is what I was told yesterday at one of the meetings at the high school. Is a great word, home grow. You grow it from home, you teach them early enough where they wanna stay in their town and give back to their town. You know, don't get me wrong, we all leave home and come back, but if you always have a few that will never leave. And hone in on those that I'm gonna stay forever and see what you can make of them. But back to, just my first question, how do I notify? You said Mr. Ecker.
Yes, and I'll give you.
So do I need to notify each board member or just him in general? Solely him? Okay,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you keeping up with, I know I've been texting you on the thing, thank you.
Hey, hon.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No one else?
Jason Carty, 10 Middleton Drive, Lumberton, also a taxpayer here in Mount Holly Township. I brought this, I wanted to donate this. This is, here we go. The picture of a bunch of volunteer firefighters right out front here on Pine Street in the 1950s, putting the antique steamer back into the building. My grandfather's one of those people in that picture. I'm a little hesitant, I have to say, in donating now, seeing the lack of historical items and memorabilia hanging up. For example, there was a very nice World War II memorial on the wall here. The World War I is still intact. They covered up, obviously worked around it, but the World War II one listing a significant number of men that not only fought for our country, but also died for our country, that were members of the fire department, specifically the Relief Fire Company. I'd like to see that get back up. And there's a whole lot of other stuff I think that needs to be addressed. I know it's history is not putting out fires, but I think it's a very important part of this fire department in this town. And to piggyback on what a couple other people said, it's very saddening to see that lifetime members, people that have given their blood, sweat, and tears for this fire company, this fire department, the other fire companies, this town, their fellow residents, are being treated this way is a shame. On this side of the room, there's hundreds of years of experience here, people that have done their time. And if they want to sit here and have a cup of coffee, so what? I know being a 5th generation volunteer firefighter in this town, starting here in 1993 when I was 16 years old, as a junior firefighter, which was a very effective program to keep me out of trouble and led to a career, it's a shame. And to segue into the junior firefighter thing, what some of the things were said by is not completely accurate. The junior fire program has been back for some time now. It's very easy to implement it. If the neighboring department has it and is getting insurance for it, something we've always done in the fire service, you copy and paste policies and procedures or find out who their insurer is and get the necessary paperwork and get the program implemented. To say that we're looking into it and doing it the right way is completely unacceptable answer. And she made some great points about having family. It's about family. This is a family environment. This was a social hub for years, the 4 fire companies at one time. And we had bingo, and we had dinners, and we had rummage sales, and all kinds of penny parties and stuff. But tradition is part of that, is teaching the young ones to come up and serve their community. I know that's lacking now this day and age in the newer generation. I see it at work with full-time firefighters that completely lack the sense of civic duty and they're just there for a paycheck. But if you can get one, it's well worth it. Like she said, identifying the ones that are the ones you want to keep and try to keep around. And there's plenty of programs available with the college where you can get college credit for your fire service, and it leads to a degree. So it's something this district should have done a long time ago. I know I personally emailed the former director almost a year ago saying, hey, I'm on 24-hour shifts. My kids started school, I'd love to come back and drive. I got more experience than most of your guys here, no offense, but you know, I can easily pick up and get trained in probably a day on your truck, and I used to drive a lot of them back here. But it's something that you gotta stop deterring people that wanna volunteer their time when they're not getting an answer to an email at all. And then you give a follow-up email and you get no answer. You even text the person, you get no answer. I don't know why your director's not here, I don't know why your fire marshal's not here, that's kind of a shame too, that they're not here. But to close, I would like to say I was very disappointed, I was kind of mad that your director's not here, that it's come back to my attention that your recently appointed fire official, you appointed a new fire marshal, did you know? And that's Mr. Mason. Number one, I was very disappointed to see that you didn't even interview people that were significantly more qualified for that position, that had years and years of experience, not only in inspecting buildings, but also administering fire, the budget for the Bureau of Fire Investigation and Inspections, and actually are qualified to perform fire investigations. You hired a homegrown that completely lacks the experience and didn't even have a fraction of the certifications that the other applicants did, and you didn't even give them the respect of an interview, maybe because of where they're from or where they worked. It's completely disappointing, and I think you need to seriously revisit that, because you're putting the lives at risk here in Mount Holly if fire prevention's being overseen by someone that's not qualified, not experienced, and completely lacks the experience for a fire investigation. Now you're gonna rely even more on mutual aid for fire investigations in the county. And just to touch on something that I think you said about hiring career firefighters, I can tell you right now, the tax base cannot support that here in town. This may be a big firehouse, but the staffing shouldn't be judged on the size of a firehouse. I do agree that a lot of money's been invested in this structure here. I don't agree with how big it is and all the bells and whistles, and it looks like a Taj garage, to be honest. As a previous member of the board, I was a big proponent of just fixing what we had and making it functional and investing the money into your apparatus equipment and your members, not over $10 million into a firehouse, because if you build it, they will come doesn't always work. You need to put the money into your most valuable resource, which is your members, your volunteers, and if you want to keep it a volunteer fire department, you need to address that and start paying attention to that. Last but not least, I just want to say, as a business owner in town and a property owner, getting back to Mr. Mason real quick, I was very disappointed to hear that he's been saying some things out on fire scenes regarding his new position, and specifically named me in front of a couple other fire chiefs, and they called me right away and said that he said a couple things about he's the fire marshal now and he's going to show me. So I just want to put on the record that it should be a conflict of interest for Mr. Mason to have anything to do with any of my properties or any of my businesses for inspecting, that he's made it clear that he has a personal axe to grind because I questioned his appointment. So I wanted to put that on the record as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Don't have fire personnel here.
I guess we'll have to table those reports.
Yeah, we'll have to table all the reports, actually. So, in case anybody can't hear, we have to table all the reports because we don't have the right personnel here. As far as the committee reports, building and grounds.
Yeah, I think both members of the Building and Grounds
Yeah,
Committee
they're
are
not here
missing.
either.
And unfortunately, without our
Sick.
director, yeah, we also can't address some of those issues. I do just want to say, in response to some of the public comment on trying to get access for legacy members, that is something that I've brought up to the director within the past few weeks. We are trying to work on a uniform policy that we can put out for legacy members to be able to get access. But again, it is something where we have to have a uniform policy and a way to actually make that happen. So the director has to be involved in that process so that they can actually process the keys and make them available in the office. So again, if you want to contact Mr. Eckert during the day, he is here pretty much, all the time. So yeah. So yeah, I do want to say that is something that is being worked on. We have heard you and we are working on that. So that's not falling on deaf ears.
I have nothing on the personnel and policy side right now. I don't know if Josh does, but he's not here. Apparatus and equipment.
The equipment right now, the chief is specking out new gear. You got a quote, I've seen it, but I don't remember the exact number on it, it was something up to like $4,500 per set of gear. So he's looking to at least 12 sets of gear within the next year, or so this year.
Per fire person.
$4,500 per person, yes. He's looking at possibly doing 6 by the end of this year and another 6 beginning of next year, where it kind of separates the budget a little bit. But other than that, we have 2 fans that are broken that we're trying to get parts on, because it's gonna be a lot cheaper than 2 fans. The fans are anywhere between $4,500 and $6,000 for the positive pressure fans. We can get to just a motherboard or computer chip that goes into the fans that actually works the things. Maybe a couple $100 per, and save us a lot of money that way as well.
Okay. Planning and services, also Josh. Budget and finance.
We just had our, meeting last week. Yeah, I don't think we have a lot for the public meeting, just that we're, continuing to prepare for audit, gathering things, and cleaning up some of the, things that happened during transition.
Nothing for old business. I do have one thing for new business before we go into executive session. On May, because I totally just, date went out of my head, 19th.
I got it here.
Thank you.
May 19th, they're doing a touch truck. We plan on doing a ribbon cutting ceremony down here as well for the township. So, I'm not sure the times.
It's
of that,
11 a.m.
but it's-
Ribbon cutting starts here at 11 a.m. I believe everything in the park starts at noon. So the building will be open for the history tours. This is May 9th, Sunday the 19th.
What is this for?
They're doing a touch truck
It's a
event.
family fun day.
Doing a ribbon cutting ceremony here where we will be giving tours of the old history room, stuff like that, to the general public.
And ribbon cutting will be at 11. It has been posted on Facebook, for those of you that do have it, on the actual Mount Holly page. And then we are doing, like I said, the official opening of the building. And 11 a.m. Sunday the 19th.
In this, can we respond on something? The tours, are they gonna be done by individuals that are experienced firefighters? That were here in Mount Holly?
From what I understand, that's a yes. That is the only part, again, that would also be a lead question because he set that up.
I don't
I
think
believe
any
our
of
historian will
these
be here.
guys have been asked to do that.
That's what I was trying to get, that's what I was trying to get
I
to.
believe our historian's doing it.
What's
I
that?
believe our historian has been asked to do it.
Marshall is doing it.
A life
He's got
member,
a kid.
a life member volunteer.
Got a lot of history in it.
From my outside looking in, these guys are the ones that should be giving the tours. Since they've been more experienced on doing all the stuff that's been handling here, it should be these guys, they should be celebrated.
But Carl Shaw is more than qualified, he's been with this department
He's the
for
man.
many years.
Oh.
And he's our
Also,
history
you guys
buff.
are cool with that.
He's our history buff.
Okay.
Yeah.
We thank you, and I thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Roger that.
And you wanna know history about the Mahali Fire Department? You ask Carl Shaw.
Yeah, he knows everything.
From what I understand, Mr. Shaw knows all the things.
Roger that, all right.
For new business, there's a resolution, we have to go into a quick executive session. Executive session resolution authorizing executive session to discuss matters of personnel and contracts. Executive session is anticipated to last approximately 1 hour. Formal action may be taken, let me rephrase that, formal action may be taken when returning from the executive session. Roll call?